sesi Temu Anwar yang diadakan di MSU Kuala Lumpur, dan ini adalah sesi soal jawab bersama dengan para pelajar MSU. Soalan-soalan yang dikemukakan itu memang padu, namun Perdana Menteri kita menjawab dengan spontan sekali. Dan MSU ini pelajarnya bukan hanya pelajar tempatan, juga daripada luar negara, international school lah ya, kita katakan seperti itu. Jadi tanpa membuang masa, ayo kita sama-sama untuk menonton sesi soal jawab ini.
So that you're free to ask any question and I'll try and answer that. Okay, please. No protocol, no need to say Right Honorable Prime Minister. No, you want to call me Uncle Anwar? Okay. All right. Yes. Ada mic kan? Ada mic kan? Right? No question. Thank you very much. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Honorable Council. My name is Joanne. I'm the President of Student Representative Council of MSU. Firstly, your journey from student leader to national leadership is really inspiring me. So I want to say thank you for your presence on our campus today. So, young people nowadays, especially from private institutions, often feel left out of national decision making. So my question is, how can we, as a student from private institution, play a role in shaping Malaysia's future? And also, what is the action that government will take to involve all the voices of young people in the process?
Okay, Joanne, why don't you suggest what should we do? Very relevant question. Number one, she said, I was a student leader. I said, yes, I do believe it. Because when I was young, I was a student leader, I said, we must represent the conscience of the majority. We must fight for justice and truth. We must condemn corruption and abuse of power. That was when I was young. Now, on the next question, from Joanne said, what should the government do? I'm saying, so why don't you give a suggestion? I tell you, Joanne, it is a brilliant suggestion. I'll put it on record and I will implement it immediately. Yes. What do you think I should do, or the government should do? Or, what else to bring you into the, mainstream discussions, whatever. Yes.
Because I'm one of the members of MBK currently, represent the IPTS. So maybe we can strengthen our voices in MBK also, because as for now, it's not all the members of IPTS is involved in MBK. Yes.
Not Ministry of Education. They will take action so that they can accommodate the IPTS have been left out. Point number one, agreed. Okay. Other questions? Yes, belakang, ya. Behind, yes. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri. I'm Vishnu from University International. Today I have a question regarding the tariffs. So, as you know...
Tariff?
Yeah.
You ask President Trump, why ask me?
It's a like to ask, from a student coming from B40 background, as a student leader and also as a youth representing this nation, how it's gonna impact us with these tariffs? And boleh ke saya bahasa Melayu sikit?
Boleh.
Okey, antara
boleh kunyo.
Sebagai cadangan untuk tarif ni, apa kata syarikat-syarikat di Malaysia boleh join venture dengan company-company di US sebagai langkah kita avoid tarif ni, if it can be implemented? Itu satu. Yang kedua, apa kata kita gunakan tarif ni sebagai peluang untuk menggunakan barang buatan Malaysia, semangat menggunakan barang buatan Malaysia. Itu sahaja.
Good question, Vishnu. Nombor Nandri. Now, you see, an economic political philosopher, Schumpeter, he traced the experience of countries during tribulations or economic crisis. And he used this phrase, gale of creative destruction. A period when there were issues, problems, world wars, deflation, or now tariff. So you either become pessimistic or virtually helpless, or you create something new. There's somewhat the old order seemingly destroyed or half destroyed or crack. That's why I say gale of creative destruction. Use destruction to be more creative. Now you suggested something smart. What? Then we try and use our local expertise. Okay. President Trump said no solar energy to be exported to America because there are Chinese companies based here, but there are other companies. So that's why our instruction is all schools, universities, hospitals use Malaysian-made solar panels. That's one, which means we can therefore probably mitigate partly the potential problem that we may face. That's what I mean by creative destruction. And then, of course, buying local products as fast as possible. You know, I think whether the question whether you have impact or not is too early soon to say, because President Trump gave a 90-day reprieve. And what is our largest export to the United States? Semiconductor chips, E&E, very large. 60% of our products, 140, 130 billion ringgit, exported to the United States. Now, if they decide to say no, nothing from Malaysia, then we may have a problem. But for now, semiconductor, E&E is excluded. Now, say if it is partly included, then we have to take measures how to then promote here. And what we did in the last 2 years since I took over as Prime Minister, in the last 2.5 years, is to open up new markets. I mean, traveling, we open up new markets other than India, China, Korea, Japan, increase trade within ASEAN, increase our relations with other countries. In, for example, Egypt, somewhat new. In the last 2 years, we increased trade investment by 34%. It was a huge country. At the end of the month, of May, ASEAN here in Kuala Lumpur, we will organize a conference, all leaders of ASEAN, with the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman. You see, and plus China. This is a special session. We've been engaging with the United States. We are now fast-tracking the agreement, FTA, Free Trade Agreement, with EU, European Union. From last month, we managed to export our palm oil and their products to UK with no tariff, because we have signed FTA with the United Kingdom. President Xi Jinping was here last 2 weeks, and we had serious discussions. We had about 36 or 38 new arrangements, MOUs signed from all areas and fields. So we have to be fast, quick, efficient, and smart. We tap the best brains and deal with this issue. I agree with you. We should not. Yes, do we anticipate some problems? Yes. The IMF World Growth Outlook for the last month has been quite concerning, because all countries, including the United States, will have a downward growth trajectory. So it may impact Malaysia a little. But then we should drive. That's what I use the term domestic economic resilience. Our guys have to work hard. You want to survive? You want to condemn our nation, or what is your choice? Your choice to survive, we have to work harder. From the Prime Minister to the ministers, to the rector, the Vice Chancellor, to the officers and the students. We work hard and we challenge any attempt to disrupt them. And we do that continuously. I think we may be able to survive. But otherwise, domestic policy is important. What have we done? I mean, I started with this issue of governance, tata kelola, good governance. I know some people hate it, but we don't have a choice. Malaysia is not a poor country, but you know, billions have been squandered. If you want to become rich, become a prime minister. Yeah. You want to be a billionaire, be a finance minister. But this is wrong. You see? Why do I choose, at least now, 2.5 years, not to take a salary as the prime minister? I do take a salary as a member of parliament. I mean, just to give a message, convey a message. Not every prime minister or leader must squander wealth and cheat and become super rich because of that position. We must stop this nonsense, and we must give a clear message. And follow proper tender procedures. And well, is it necessarily popular? No. Because sometimes you take action. Those are also billionaires. They will use your resources to go and attack you. They use the social media, they use parties, they use NGOs, they use civil society to abuse and attack you. You must have this courage of conviction and tenacity of purpose and belief in what you are doing, and inshallah, you will succeed. Alright? Now, next question. Yeah. Yes. No, sorry. The next, Yes. Belakang, yeah. With the big beard, yes.
Let us please.
Ya, boleh. Mana? Jangan lemah. Okey, jalan. Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam Malaysia Madani. Nama diberi Ahmad Izhad Hamzah bin Fazal Anwar. Saya merupakan tahun 2 kejuruteraan petroleum dan saya mewakili Presiden Student Representative Council Universiti Teknologi Petronas UTP.
Jadi Datuk Seri, saya telah mengikuti perjalanan Datuk Seri daripada kecil. Dan saya lihat Datuk Seri banyak telah berinteraksi rapat dengan banyak tokoh-tokoh moden Islam seperti Dr. Ismail Al-Faruqi dan sebagainya. Yang mana tokoh-tokoh ini sangat menekankan peranan ilmu, kepimpinan dan juga demokrasi dalam pembinaan tamadun. Dan saya percaya perkara ini terserlah daripada usaha Datuk Seri dalam membina Malaysia yang disebut sebagai Malaysia Madani. Dan dalam konteks ini juga Datuk Seri juga pernah memimpin API. Dan bagaimana dalam era konteks digital sekarang ini, bagaimana Datuk Seri melihat kesinambungan nilai-nilai ini dalam membentuk mahasiswa yang bukan sahaja berpendidikan tinggi dan berilmu, tapi berjiwa bangsa dan boleh memberikan peran tinggi dalam membina negara bangsa. Dan izin juga saya selit satu cadangan kepada Malaysia Madani, yang mana saya rasakan perkara ini juga merupakan suara-suara mahasiswa. Sebab apa sekarang ini kita lihat kita sudah pun ada inisiatif Fly Siswa yang mana memudahkan pelajar-pelajar dan mahasiswa di Sabah dan juga Sarawak untuk pulang ke rumah masing-masing. Dan cadangan saya sekarang ini agar Fly Siswa ini juga turut diperluaskan sebagai transiswa, yang mana turut juga melibatkan pengangkutan darat, air dan sebagainya, terutamanya kami pelajar-pelajar di Semenanjung Datuk Seri. Dan saya dengar dalam hal ini semua ihsan daripada kerajaan Madani untuk mempertimbangkan cadangan ini. Itu saja, terima kasih.
Lori kan bas. Dia kata di Semenanjung itu sampan daripada Kelang ke I will have to do it in bilingual because many of you foreign students need to respond in English. Ya. Ataupun boleh saya jawab bahasa Melayu semua faham. Anyone who are not able or conversant in bahasa? Oh, I remember. Your fault, why didn't you learn bahasa? Alright, saya akan respon dulu dalam bahasa, kemudian saya akan samaran dalam bahasa Inggeris. Nah, anyway, terima kasih dapat ikuti. Ismail Faruqi itu merupakan sarjana yang memberikan penekanan khusus kepada apa yang dia sebut sebagai malai untuk umat. Dalam dunia yang penuh pancaroba kegelapan kerana kedangkalan ilmu, termasuk Islam sendiri. Dalam ilmu sehingga tidak dapat mencapai kejayaan kerana ketandusan pemikiran. Tidak ada keupayaan menerima disiplin baru dan tunduk kepada sistem asing. Tidak ada upaya untuk membina apa yang disebut sebagai kekuatan asli. Jadi beliau kemudian menggagaskan Institut Pemikiran Islam Antarabangsa yang saya juga turut menjadi salah seorang pengasasnya masa saya amat muda sekali. Dan ini kita cuba juga tekankan kalau saya dalam Habib, yaitu menekankan keperluan pencerahan, kesedaran, tumpuan kepada ilmu yang pelbagai. Ada orang salah faham, dia kata ini hanya pendekatan dengan sahaja-sahaja Islam terbuka, tak semestinya. Semasa saya muda, karya yang besar seperti Frans Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth, dan juga umpamanya karya-karya oleh Iqbal, bukan saja Asrar Khudi, Javid Nama, tapi the reconstruction of religious thought Islam. Kemudian Malik bin Nabi, pemikir Algeria, yang bercakap soal kolonosibility, maknanya orang merdeka, negara sudah merdeka, intelektualnya hebat, tetapi pemikirannya itu pemikiran terjajah. Dia tidak mampu berfikir luar daripada kerangka pemikiran yang terjajah. Dan ini juga kita dapat lihat kesan di negara kita, Indonesia. Dia cakap itu semuanya dari teks dan pemikiran yang dirangka oleh orang asing. Kalau ada baik, yang benar, ya, tapi jangan kita merangkap. Nah, ini yang juga dikupas oleh Profesor Hussein Alatas boleh disebut captive mind, minda yang terperangkap. Bicara soal ekonomi, bicara soal pembangunan, bicara soal pendidikan, mesti acuannya acuan barat, tidak ada yang lain. Ini masalah. Baik. Jadi perlu, sebab itu perlu pendidikan, pencerahan, penguasaan ilmu. Tapi kalau penguasaan ilmu dengan sikap yang penuh dengan kebencian, tak setuju dia terus kafir, munafik, dan bangkit atas kebencian, tak ke mana. Dia mesti bawa pendedahan dan ilmu ini dengan apa yang ditekankan dalam prinsip agama kita. Apa dia? Bil hikmah wal mau'izatil hasanah wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Dengan bijaksana, dengan perkataan yang baik, dengan menarik orang, bukan dengan menanam kebencian dan hukum. Baru belajar Islam 2 bulan terus dia pun ikut hukum orang. Ini problemnya. Jadi sebab itu saya kata pencerahan ilmu itu penting. Now saying that the necessity to acquire knowledge, as I said in the beginning, is not to be enslaved. Enslavement does not mean that you are slaves or you are the colonial subjects, but your trend, scheme of thought is so captive to the others. You don't have the capacity to think anew, to reflect independently. And that's what I referred to our great sociologist Hussein Alatas when he talked about, when he referred to the captive mind in development studies. You talk about development must be a Western concept notion, sometimes completely irrelevant. Our societies differ. Level of understanding development is different. A peculiar problem of the Dayak heartland, the Ibans, and the Malay remote villages, and the estate, the Indian estate workers, or the Chinese squatters are different but be handled wisely. That's what I referred to, the need to rethink, reflect intelligently and yet independently, and not to be subjected to a particular prescription suggested by others. This also has relevance to the understanding of Islam. Why is it Islam, which is a religion that promotes ihsan, compassion, and rahmatan lil alamin, sometimes understood in a very competitive, rancorous, vicious manner, full of distrust and hatred and divisiveness? There is an apparent contradiction. So it is our duty, therefore, not to be subjected by these so-called scholars, but to have this readiness, capacity to learn and have that wisdom that to carry knowledge. He made reference to one great scholar, past Ismail Faruqi. Then he, of course, after all that comes that, why not fly Sesi Soal? He said, fly Sesi Soal and then you talk about sampan. No, I'm joking. I will discuss this with the Minister of Transport. Ayo, susah. Nak pergi mana yang nak perlu bantuan ni? You kata buat paper Semenanjung. Why do we give some preference to Sabah Sarawak? It's expensive, particularly during this festive period, and some of these flights are just atrocious. So we chose, therefore, to support them, at least to deem part of their problems. Now, what you are saying is now, Anwar, as Prime Minister, you want to be loved and appreciated by the young, then please allow them to go back home without having to pay anything. Ayo, kalau balik. Where am I going to get the money to do this? But if there are specific areas where we can help, we will do. Okay? I can promise you one thing, inshallah, we'll look at it. What we need to do is to make sure that the price is reasonable. You know, people don't exploit and extort at the time. A price, for example, should be 20 ringgit, when it comes before Hari Raya, it becomes 40 ringgit. It doesn't make sense. So I think that sort of regulations may be introduced to curtail this exorbitant increase. Alright? Boleh? Not to happy answer. Nobody wants to clap. What to do? Yes. Yes.
Datuk Seri.
Ya.
Di atas.
Okay, datang dulu. Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Banadi dan salam WIA-UNIKL. Bila Datuk Seri, nama saya Muhammad Anas bin Ishaq selaku Presiden UNIKL Student Representative Council 2025. Merangkap juga Presiden UNIKL Malaysian Institute of Marine Engineering Technology yang bertempat di rumah. Bila Datuk Seri, seperti yang mana kita boleh lihat, sekarang terdapat banyak pergolakan kuasa yang berlaku di serata dunia. Namun apa yang ingin saya perincikan adalah lebih kepada perubahan ekonomi yang mungkin sekarang kita lihat berubah daripada barat ke negara Asia. Jadi mungkin apakah perancangan daripada pihak kerajaan Datuk Seri sendiri untuk memastikan Malaysia sentiasa berada di tempat yang sentiasa dipandang dan tidak dipinggirkan sebagai mungkin negara kecil namun sentiasa berhati besar. Kemudian Datuk Seri, yang kedua, jika kita ingin meletakkan Malaysia sebagai sebuah negara yang sudah tentu hebat, apakah ciri-ciri yang mungkin Datuk Seri sendiri lihat yang perlu ada di setiap jiwa belia yang berada di Malaysia ini? Kerana pada hemat saya sendiri, untuk melahirkan seorang pemimpin ataupun belia yang produktif, kita perlu berikan mungkin sedikit pendedahan kepada belia ini, kerana apa yang saya lihat adanya program fellow perdana yang berikan pendedahan daripada Kementerian Perpaduan sendiri kepada pihak menteri. Namun sekiranya insentif ini turut diberikan kepada pelajar-pelajar juga ataupun belia yang berada di Malaysia sekarang, saya pasti dan percaya bahawa pendedahan yang mungkin sedikit boleh memberikan impak yang tinggi kepada pelajar-pelajar ini untuk terus memaju Malaysia sebagai negara yang unggul di masa akan datang. Itu saja dari saya.
Pertama soalan bahawa kalau dulunya kuasa besar ketenteraan dan ekonomi itu hanya di barat, mulanya United Kingdom, sekarang Amerika, tapi sekarang nampak keadaan berubah juga dengan perkembangan negara China khususnya. Bagi kita itu suatu perkembangan positif. Malaysia ambil pendekatan seperti mana yang diterima oleh negara-negara ASEAN yang kita sebut keadaan pertengahan, centrality, untuk mengadakan hubungan yang baik dengan semua negara. Dan tentunya kalau tanya negara China itu jiran dan kerjasama yang baik dalam banyak bidang. Itu tidak menghalang kita untuk terus meningkatkan kerjasama itu. Ya. Dan itu pendekatan kita sekarang. Jadi sebab itu sudah lihat, sementara hubungan tradisional kita dengan Amerika dari segi perdagangan dan pelaburan itu tinggi, kita juga memberi penekanan yang sangat kuat kepada negara China dalam berbagai bidang. Apalagi bila pimpinan negara China itu lebih dekat dengan kita. Umpamanya, ya, bulan lalu Presiden Xi Jinping ada di sini. Akhir Mei, Premier Li Qiang akan bersama dengan pemimpin negara teluk, GCC dan ASEAN. Jadi dia ambil sikap yang sangat lunak dengan kita. Jadi kita sebagai tamu, tuan rumah tentunya menerima baik. Jadi kita harus adakan strategi itu, perluaskan dagang dan pelaburan dalam negara-negara lain. Kemudian beliau bagaimana yang kita harus pupuk. Seperti yang saya sebut tadi, mestilah menimba ilmu secukupnya, membaca seluasnya, menilai dengan sabar dan bijak. Tidak pantas menghukum dan menghina orang. Malaysia ini negara berbagai kaum, berbagai agama. Islam tetap agama persekutuan. Orang Melayu dan Putra tetap majoriti. Dasar-dasar yang termaktub dalam perlembagaan itu kita tetap pertahankan. Tetapi ini bukan alasan untuk kita melihat orang dengan penuh syakwa sangka dan kebencian. Saya lihat kadang-kadang bila dapat laporan daripada media sosial, orang cuba menakutkan, melampau. Ini saya anggap satu tanda yang akan merusakkan kita. Dan saya lebih kesal kalau di antara penyokong-penyokong itu di kalangan orang yang terpelajar. Jadi saya tanya, kamu belajar apa? Profesor kamu ajar apa? Kamu baca buku mana? Mengapa kamu pertahankan kejahilan? Mengapa kamu memuliakan orang yang merendahkan akal budi dan menghina manusia? Itu mesti dijawab. Jadi kita bisa angkat anak-anak muda yang punya daya tahan, mental yang kuat dan cinta dan negara. Dengan nilai, betul saya kata nilai penting. Dalam madang ini nilai sangat penting. Ya, semua orang mau bangun. Saya selalu sebut dalam bidang pendidikan, menggapai langit. Disiplin baru, AI, digital, ya, canggih semua. Tapi jangan lupa, mesti mengakar ke bumi. Ya, menggapai langit, tapi mengakar ke bumi. Apa yang di bumi itu? Nilai, budaya, akidah, akhlak. Ya. Jadi keduanya dirangkul. Itu menyebabkan kita itu walaqad karramna bani Adam. Barulah bangkit ramah insaniyah. Okay? Now, tentang fellow perdana dan kemudahan itu kita sedang berbincang. Tidak semua akan jadi fellow perdana, tapi kita akan bincang supaya dapat pendedahan dalam program latihan di mana kita ada peluang menemui sarjana daripada berbagai disiplin, pemimpin, menteri, menteri. Ya. Dan ini akan sedang diuruskan melalui akademi kenegaraan dan lain-lain. Now, short summary in English. The question relates to the shift now in terms of power, geopolitical development between the West or the East, United States or China. We take a position of what we call centrality in Malaysia and ASEAN. We engage with all, we befriend all countries, we trade, it's an open trade, it's a trading nation. But the next question is, cumulatively, as I've said, United States still number one in terms of Western trade with Malaysia. But our relation with China is very close, because it is a neighbor. Secondly, the position and attitude taken by the Chinese leadership is not condescending. It has been very friendly and very engaging. And we therefore, as a country, do show our profound appreciation towards them. Then, the next question is about youth. What do you need? What do you expect from youth? I said, number one, you have to acquire knowledge. You have to be patient. I mean, I can understand your strong views. When I was young, was I patient? Well, not so. But you must represent some ideals. As I said, we represent the conscious majority. We know. We try and find out what is right. We do not condone excesses or corruption. Corruption can be corruption in terms of acquisition of wealth in an illegal manner. Corruption of the mind can be preaching hatred, insulting people, casting aspersions against people of different color or race. That to me is not acceptable. No, the young must then learn to accept the fact, if you want to succeed as a nation, we have to be more inclusive. We want to succeed as a nation, we have to instill the correct values. What is human dignity? What is just? What is fair? But some people say, oh, we have to be fair, we have to grant or accept those who have been relatively very successful, based on purely a merit. I say, yeah, fair, that's partly true. But is that the whole truth? John Rawls, the political economist, said what? What is justice? Justice is fairness. You can't say the best school in the country is Kuala Lumpur, and we have to compete with the school in Kapit and Pulau Kelantan. I say, no, merit. There is rational to defend merit, but it has to be fair. I have to view differently. You have the best schools, the best equipment, the best teachers, the best tuition, and you want us to be fair and say just and compete with the most remote among the poorest. The poor, you will increase the gap between the rich and the poor if you do not cater for what is termed as fairness. That's why my affirmative action is necessary. Now, last question on fellow Perdana, a scheme to help to expose the students to some facilities, and we will try to do it through some training programs. There may, I think, 100 people raising their hands. I will probably ask briefly 3 questions and answer one. Yes.
Hello, sir. Good evening, the most honorable Dato' Sri Prime Minister. The last we met was in Stadium Melawati, bringing you to a Taekwondo tournament. Okay? Anyway, my name is Vijay Kumar Jagannathan. I'm a part-time student in Master of Program Management Program at Open University Malaysia, OEM Shah Alam. And I work full-time in the manufacturing sector. Was working in China for 20 years, and now I'm in Malaysia since 2025. Chosen OEM to start my masters that I left 20 years ago. As someone who both studying and working in project management, I've seen first-hand challenges faced by our industry, especially when it comes to workforce issues. Our sector depends on both. Okay, the question is, would the government consider reviewing the current policies and foreign work permit extensions and reducing the levy imposed so that we can stay afloat, to stay competitive, and especially in the face of economic recovery? Thank you very much.
You're suggesting that we should bring more foreign workers or less? Huh? Less foreign workers or more? Less, yeah. That's basically the policy now. We need for the plantations, for example, but the other sector we have to reduce substantially. Yeah? And the total reliance on foreign workers will render us less competitive and slow in automation. Yeah? And people take things easy. And therefore, I agree with you, we will have to do that. We have started limiting. For now, no new workers, except to replace the old ones, so for a start. But the problem is we are too rigid, tough, then you can see the palm oil production has stunted because of the lack of workers. Right?
Hello everyone.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
My name is Shayan and I'm from Pakistan. And today I'm representing Asia Pacific University. I'm very glad for having this opportunity. And my question is from Yabda to Siri. With many countries moving away from using US dollars, and I wanted to ask how Malaysia is planning to reduce its reliance on the US dollar, and especially in foreign reserves and trade within the regions of ASEAN countries and global South context. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, incidentally, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif called me yesterday. He's due to visit Malaysia on Friday, but due to the tension between India and Pakistan, he is forced to postpone the visit. So I told him that we wish you well, we wish India and Pakistan able to resolve the conflict amicably and maintain peace in the region. We condemn, of course, any form of atrocities and terrorism. We have to find out the root cause and who are responsible. Now, on the issue of the dependence on the dollar will remain a very important currency, no question about it. But the total dependence will be at the price. So what Malaysia has done through what is called a Chiang Mai initiative is to encourage the use of local currency in our trade. With Thailand, we have used 20% ringgit and baht. With Indonesia, 20% ringgit and rupiah. And with China, Chinese yuan and also ringgit, 20. But 20% China means this is close to 20 billion. Quite substantial, I can't recall offhand. It's huge because you trade with China. So there is an important beginning. But otherwise, we are still stuck to the dependence on the dollar. But we have taken measures. That's why I say domestic resilience is important. Because by true domestic resilience, the dependence on the foreign currency will be less. But alhamdulillah, at least for now, Malaysian currency is about the best in Asia. It's strengthening and it's something of a positive side. Right? Yeah.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, Datuk Sri.
Yeah.
My name is Amelia Shafinas and I am currently taking Bachelor in Liberal Arts, focusing on diplomacy and international relations.
Okay.
Recently, I have just finished my internship in the Permanent Mission of Malaysia to the United Nations in New York City. And And I am also a proud student of Management at Science University as well.
How long were you in New York?
I was in New York for a year.
Wow!
And it was proud of me. I was proud to represent Malaysia on the global stage. So alhamdulillah.
Other than the UN, what else did you do?
Basically, I was helping to draft speeches and also help representatives in the youth stage of the United Nations.
Anything interesting you saw in New York?
What?
Anything interesting you saw in New York?
The subway.
Okay, right.
Proceeding to my question, Ya Ahmad Muhammad, Datuk Sri, it has been 4 years since the 5-point consensus have been introduced in ASEAN. And to this day, the Myanmar crisis is still ongoing. And we must be aware of this. And because of this, now that Malaysia is chairing ASEAN under your leadership, how do you think you will enforce these 5-point consensus in ASEAN to help our brothers and sisters in Myanmar? That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Why do you choose to ask me difficult questions? I have not had coffee or tea yet. Anyways, it's an issue close to the hearts of ASEAN. For the first time, since I was probably a decade, I went to Bangkok and had a short bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister and Dr. Thaksin, is also to meet first time Prime Minister, Senior General Maong Lai, in the military junta. And then the following morning, I met the Prime Minister of the National Unity Government. So we met both. But because of the 5-point consensus, I then confined myself to discussing the issue of humanitarian assistance. The earthquake was devastating, and Malaysia has opted to assist. First we sent our SMART team, then there's a field hospital, there's a military field hospital now functioning. I just got a note today that asking me whether they should extend a bit more or not. I said as long as there's ceasefire, we can extend, and they've asked for additional medicine. I said yes, we can help. Malaysia is not a very rich country, but it is our responsibility to help our friends and neighbors in distress. But we have 2 conditions we have imposed. Both I mentioned to the Prime Minister, Senior General Maong Lai, and also Prime Minister of the National Unity Government. Number 1, observe the ceasefire. Stop the shooting, stop the violence. Both parties. Violent. And now we are also trying to engage the third force. We are neither with the military government nor with the NUG. Again, stop the ceasefire and make sure that humanitarian aid is not discriminated against any group. Both have agreed. 1, ceasefire. Number 2, that assistance should cover all. So that's been done. And just now, about 1:30 somewhere, I received a call from President Prabowo Subianto of Indonesia, who happens to be meeting former Prime Minister Hun Sen, the President of the National Assembly of Cambodia, and asking me about the development on Myanmar, and suggesting whether they should pursue. I said, of course, all leaders of ASEAN should go and meet these leaders and give the same message. Number 1, ceasefire. Number 2, be more inclusive. And humanitarian assistance should cover everybody. Because the sooner they accept these broad parameters under the 5-point consensus, the better is it for ASEAN. I mean, you bring them in the fold, into the fold of ASEAN. So that's a position. We hope that there may be some. There is, of course, some very positive development as compared to last year, for example. Now we are able to engage with both. In fact, the 3 parties. And there is ceasefire. The ceasefire is supposed to end 15th of May. I have encouraged them, please extend beyond 15th of May, otherwise our military hospital will back up and come back. Okay? And inshallah, they will hopefully abide, all parties, but then extend it for another month, and you can stay for another month. Meanwhile, I think I also sought the assistance of both Dr. Thaksin and then now Hun Sen and now President Prabowo to continue to engage, and it becomes like an ASEAN consensus. Right? You want to go on until 6 o'clock today?